Hello YouTube! So since I started making book videos, I genuinely feel like I don't have enough time to make all the videos I want to make for you guys. So I've been trying to do monthly book wrap-ups, but I've only done one. This is going to be my second one. I apologize. But here's everything I've read since we last talked. So I read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I talked about it over on Answerly. I don't think I really talked about this book on this channel at all. It's been on my shelf for a really long time. I was really into the idea when the book first came out, and so I bought it. Just like the idea of all these old photos was just so cool to me, and then I just kind of forgot about it as it sat on my shelf, but then I started reading it and I powered through not only Miss Peregrine but also the next book, Hollow City, and I really liked both of them. I didn't know what they were going to be about really at all, and I was not expecting what it was, but I loved it. Instead of, I thought it was going to be sort of like a creepy thriller type thing, and it ended up being more like an action-adventure book. And I didn't know that there was another one that isn't out yet, which I was really frustrated about, but there will be, I believe, a third one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all ends, and I just really liked them. I just don't know really what else to say. Next, I read the book that we've all been waiting for all summer, which is Isla and the Happily Ever After. I got to be part of the sort of early marketing campaign for this book, which was really fun, and so I got to read it early, and I loved it. I don't think it was my favorite of the three. I think that Lola was probably my favorite, followed by Anna, and then maybe Isla. It's still a really good book. I just don't think that it was quite to the caliber of the other two. I do like that we returned to Paris for the story that sort of brought the whole series full circle, which was really fun. And if you love a good romance, especially like a fun summer romance, this is definitely the book for you. This one just fell a little bit short for me, but was still ultimately a very good book. So then I finally read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I loved this book. I loved it so much. This is a book that is sort of covered in mystery because you're not really supposed to know anything about it before going into it, and I loved it. Most of the people that I've talked to who read this book loved it. There's definitely some people that I think might not like this, maybe the writing style of this book because it's kind of like a poetic style of writing, but otherwise it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. It was like almost a 10 out of 10 for me, and please read it if you haven't. After that, I read The Here and Now by Anne Brashares. This was a book that I didn't really know much about. I just know that she wrote The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, so I was totally down to read one of her new books. But this is a book that, while not being one of my like favorite books I've ever read, the themes have really stuck with me. It was a good book, don't get me wrong. I give it like a 7 out of 10. I think that it could have used like a little bit more depth, but the concept of the book is really cool. It's this group of people who came from the future. A little ways into the future, there's this blood plague that's killing everyone, and this group of people figures out how to travel back in time to basically present day, which is safer and livable, and they get to live these really highly guarded, secretive lives where they can't really tell anybody anything about them for risk of being found out. But, of course, the main character meets a boy who challenges all of that. But I really just liked the concept of someone from the future experiencing the present and their ideas about it and their perception of it, and it was really interesting and like really thought-provoking. Again, I wish the book had gone a little bit deeper. The sort of climax felt a little like rushed, and like the reader didn't really get to be a part of it. I don't know, I wasn't even totally certain what the plan was until the main characters carried it out, even though the main characters had like put this plan together, and it was really weird. But I think that it's still definitely worth it. The most recent book that I read, I will admit I'm not actually totally finished with this. I'm about like 80% done with it, but it's Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. This is the same guy who wrote A Series of Unfortunate Events, which I loved, and I like a lot of his other books that he's written as well. This book's really cool because it's illustrated like quite a bit, and so this book is about a girl explaining to her ex-boyfriend why they broke up, and it starts with her giving him this box right here full of all of the things that he gave her or that meant something in their relationship. As it goes on, she explains each item that's in here and why it was relevant and what little aspects of this thing led to their inevitable breakup. I'm not actually at the breakup yet, but I really like this book so far. It's written in this like super intense language, like really run-on sentences, like really in the character's mind, which I know some people don't like, but I really like. And so I'm really looking forward to finishing this, but it's just a really fun and different book that I've really enjoyed. Next up for me is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. I haven't even started this book yet, but it's huge, and I'm really excited excited to read it. I'm probably gonna spend the rest of this week just like powering through this book. It comes out next month, so look forward to that. Thank you guys. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about in today's video down in the comments below. Let me know if you have any other recommendations for me based on the types of books that I talked about. And I will see you next time. Thank you guys for watching.